What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Let's get right into it. Today I'm going to be talking about the company Microsoft. The stock ticker is MSFT. It's going to be reporting Q3 earnings this month on the 29th, so be on the lookout for that. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So I drew a trend line coming down to the price of 164. And I'm looking to see if it does stay above that or if it comes back down. So for me, that is the resistance. Let's take a look at the weekly chart, get a bigger picture of it. And we can see that when the stock market turned down, the company found support at the 50-day moving average, which is that purple line. So what I'm looking to see is if the company can break above its recent high of roughly around 190, and I think it can, but we'll see. Let's move on to the company's revenue segment. So this is for the fiscal year of 2019. We can see that Enterprise Cloud is leading the way, followed by Office 365. Next is going to be Azure, which I'm going to be talking about in a sec here, followed by Windows, moving on devices, and so on. So this week, Microsoft signed a multi-year deal with the NBA. Hopefully that comes back soon. Hopefully it does. But yeah, signed a multi-year deal with the NBA for Azure, which is this cloud computing business, and also Microsoft Surface. And also the company brought Teams to consumers and launched Microsoft 365 personal and family plans. The reason why Teams is huge is, if you haven't been following, people have been using Zoom for video conferencing, schools, and the privacy of those video conferences is not good at all, or not great. People have been able to actually hack into these conferences, and there's been a trend now. It's called actually Zoom bombing, where people hack into the conference and pretty much make loud noises or do whatever they want. You can actually look it up on YouTube. I'm sure you can find something on that. And also, as far as news go, the company was awarded the JEDI contract of $10 billion with the Department of Defense. And why that's big news is actually because Amazon appealed this, saying that Microsoft, or I can't remember if it was Microsoft or the Pentagon, but they said that they alleged that something went wrong on the contract and that it needs to be reviewed so that they can go ahead and get the contract, pretty much. But if we look closely at Azure and how Amazon's AWS business, how they compare to one another, we'll see that AWS is actually 32% of the market, and Amazon comes in at around 17% of the market. But the thing to note is actually AWS posted growth of 36% year over year for 2019. Meanwhile, Microsoft Azure grew 64%. So once again, Amazon sales grew 36%, Microsoft Azure 64%. And if you look at the graph, you can see how Azure has been growing, as well as Amazon's other business segments. Moving on to the financial statements. Looking at the 3-year annualized growth, revenue has been growing at 11.3%, operating income 16.47%, net income 24%. Looking at return on assets of 16%, return on equity, I'm very big on that, you guys know that, about 44%, return on invested capital 26% as well, which is definitely very good, and net margin of 33%. Looking at the income statement, here's a graph for you guys showing the revenue as well as gross margin, operating income. You guys can take a look at that, as well as the segment broken down by revenue and also operating income. And you guys can see that that's been trending upward. And this is quarter. This isn't for the year. This is quarter over quarter or by quarter. And you can see that it's been trending upward except for corporate and other. That's pretty much remained flat. But this is a very good sign for Amazon. This is what you would like to see if you are thinking about investing in Amazon. Let's move on to the balance sheet now. So the balance sheet, first thing I want to point out is that total current assets is 167 billion. And if we look at total liabilities, it's around 173 billion. But if you look at total current liabilities, it's 60 billion. So the current ratio is definitely very good for Amazon. It's probably about 2.5. Definitely very good for a company of this size. And moving on now to the cash flow statement as well. So CapEx came in about $14 billion. And if you're looking at financing activities, the company paid $18 billion for common stock. So the company bought back shares worth $18 billion. Dividends paid was $14 billion, and repayments of long-term debt was $4 billion. So that's it, guys, for Microsoft. Thank you guys once again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. It definitely helps with growing the channel. It helps with YouTube's algorithm. And it definitely helps me create better content for you guys when you guys comment, so I know what you guys want to hear and what you guys want to see. All right, see you guys on my next video.